What you gonna do for that food? You gonna sit? You already said you gonna roll over? You gonna do a backflip? Because I put hard work into this homemade food. You gotta work for it, baby boy. Okay. Your cute puppy face wins. Good boy. You gotta wait and be patient. Gotta wait and be patient. Go eat. First of all, let me apologize for the background noise. It's dinner time. Y'all know my household is ghetto. Okay, not ghetto, but hey y'all. Dang. But on a serious note, so I've been getting a lot of questions regarding the homemade dog food that I make our dog Debo. It's extremely easy, and I wanted to hop on here really quick and show you guys how I make it. Because it's easy. So because my Instant Pot is smaller, I cook my meat first and then I cook my veggies second. Just try to kind of go with me as I prepare this, I guess you could say. I'll do the meat first and then I'll do the veggies second. I don't have everything out because obviously I have frozen veggies and those need to stay in the freezer before I use them. So for my selection of protein, I do beef liver, I do ground turkey or chicken. This is ground chicken for this week. And then I have gizzards. You can't really see them. Gizzards and liver are extremely cheap. This tube of ground chicken cost 10 bucks. The liver was 3 bucks. And then the gizzards, I think, were 2 bucks. So fairly cheap for this portion of meat. Now you can cook your dog's food in bigger portions and freeze it. That's what I'm going to start doing because this weekly making his food, prepping, whatever you want to call it, it's starting to be a lot. So I think I'm just going to cook up a bigger batch and kind of store it in the freezer. We don't have a lot of freezer space, which is why that really wasn't an option for me. But it's about that time because I'm sick of doing it every week. It's getting cold. I'm going to put this in the pressure cooker. It depends how much meat you're cooking, what kind of meat you're cooking, and all that good stuff to determine how long you need to cook it in the pressure cooker. For what I'm cooking, I'm only going to cook it for 30 minutes in the pressure cooker, and that's usually long enough for this amount of meat. You'll have to adjust it based on how much meat you're cooking at once. And as I always say, guys, do not freak out. After this video, you can look down in the description and I'll have all the measurements and all that good information for you if I'm moving too fast. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pour. Let's take this out. I'm going to pour my meat in. Let me get where y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna pour my meat. Ooh, I thought I lost some. I'm gonna pour my meat in, and then I'm gonna add 1 cup of water. When pressure cooking, you always want to make sure you add liquids to it, at least a cup of water or broth or whatever. And if you're doing broth for a dog, make sure there are no onions or anything. Make sure it's just pure like bone broth. And if you want to be completely safe, sorry the water's loud, y'all can't even hear me. I do apologize how I'm handling the meat. If you guys don't know, if you're new to my channel, my family, we are vegan. So I haven't had to deal with meat in almost 4 years now. So yeah, I'm kind of dealing with it like it's toxic. But yeah, so let's get this going. I'm gonna go ahead, add my cup of water, and then I'm gonna put it in the pressure cooker, let it go for 30 minutes, and then we'll be right back and I'll show you the veggie portion of things. We're gonna let that go for 30 minutes and we'll be right back. Be right back to do them veggies. Do them veggies. And since we waiting for that meat to cook, how about y'all go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you can see all the goodness that we have to come. Okay, let it cook. I'm so excited for Halloween. So for my individual costume,
I need more ketchup.
Hold on, y'all. As I was saying before I was interrupted, for Halloween. Oh wait, I said I wasn't gonna tell y'all what I was gonna do.
But
This is a real find.
Just buy it. You don't have to rationalize everything.
All right, I will buy it. It'll be good for the economy.
Y'all, I definitely was supposed to be getting dinner ready while this meat was going. All right, let me stop playing, y'all. Be back in a minute, for real this time. And I do want to apologize for, I probably shouldn't be swinging a knife around. That's not safe. I do apologize if y'all feel like this video is kind of all over the place. We just got home. This house is always, it's just always chaos. Not always, but sometimes. Actually, most of the time. Actually, all the time. Because it would have been a little more professional for me to probably, you know, have the veggies sitting out pre-measured and the meat pre-measured and all the good stuff. But guess what? I'm not doing all that. I'm letting y'all see a little bit of rawness. Like, you hear my kids fighting in the background right now? I'm gonna go get them here in a second, but I just wanted y'all to see a little bit of the rawness that goes on in this household. And here in this household, sometimes things are not prepared and ready to go. So, hey, give me a second. Let me tend to my kids real quick. BRB. Okay, everything's cool now, I think, for the moment. But like I was saying, everything's not prepared. I've been meaning to do this video forever, and I wanted to hop on here and do it since I was making food this late and I kind of have time to do it right now. I will, like I said, I will drop all the measurements and all that good stuff down in the description box. This food is vet approved for our dog from his vet, so make sure you check with your vet before you know, try to feed your dog this food. It's good for our dog, but you know, everybody's not the same. So, or every dog's not the same, rather. All right, so our meat has about 6 minutes left until it's time to release pressure on that. I was fancy this time. I went ahead and pre-measured and got things together for you guys. Well, I kind of got things together. Look, it's a little bit better than it was before. Okay, so appreciate what you're getting from me. Just a quick rundown on the vegetable portion of this meal. You're going to use, let me move this down so y'all can see a little bit. Just a little bit. I have my sweet potatoes and some water. Now with the sweet potatoes, you can do frozen sweet potatoes or you can do fresh. I feel like you get more for your money when you do fresh, but I do frozen sometime because it's easy to just cut the bag open and throw it in there and call it a day. I felt like chopping them up today, so I went ahead and got fresh. Plus they're in season, so it's a little bit cheaper to get sweet potatoes right now. Shout out to fall. So, sweet potatoes, 2 cups, check. Just kidding, not 2 cups. 2 sweet potatoes. Medium to large sweet potatoes. I think these were more on the large side. 2 sweet potatoes, 1.5 cups of brown rice, a 12-ounce bag of peas and green beans, separate bags, obviously not together. Then I have a 12-ounce bag of carrots and then a 12-ounce bag of spinach. Now guys, when you purchase your vegetables, please, 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 please get organic. Do not go buy the other stuff just because it's about 10 cents cheaper. If you gonna cook homemade food for your dog, just go all out and get them the good stuff. Don't be getting the cheap 98-cent bags. Go ahead and get the organic stuff. Then I have a can of pumpkin. Now this is pumpkin that I canned. We did a pumpkin painting. I gutted the pumpkins, took all the rind off, and I canned it. I like to save money, so that's what I did. You can buy it at the store. Just make sure it's 100% pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie mix, because your dog gonna be doodling. Don't get no pumpkin pie mix. You're gonna be mad. Another thing I do recommend you add is coconut oil. Make sure it is unrefined virgin coconut oil. This is good, healthy fats for the dog. Very, very good. You can either do this, coconut oil, or you can do olive oil. You add this in after you cook everything and mash it together. I'll show you once I finish cooking everything how we assemble everything. Next is the salmon oil. This is really good for their coat. This is optional, but we like to use this because it makes their coat really, really pretty. So optional. You don't have to, but you should do. Lastly, when you're making homemade food, sometimes homemade food can lack some of the nutrients that are in kibble. So you want to make sure that you opt to buy maybe a multivitamin of some sort. You can do either the multivitamins like this, or you can do they have them in oil form where you just drop it in the dog's food before they eat. They have some where based on the weight of the food you add a certain amount in. I ain't doing all that. That's too much measuring. I'd rather just do these. You just pop it in their food, mix it up, and the food be so good they usually take it without even thinking about what they taking. Recommend this one. I'll drop it down in the link. I purchased it on Amazon. Very easy to give. Like I said, you give based on the weight. The instructions are on the back. You give it to him based on the weight. You just throw it in food and he eats it and doesn't pay attention to it. But you want to make sure this is in your dog's food. Don't spend your time making this homemade food and then you lacking stuff that they need. Now you're wasting your time. You could have just got kibble the whole time. Do it right. I forgot to mention this. Sorry that that's loud in the background, but I needed to mention this before I forgot. If you don't want to do a multivitamin, you're also welcome to add maybe like a half a cup of kibble to your dog's food. That way they're getting like the nutrients and stuff that is missed sometimes in homemade food. We not doing that because the kibble is high. We just all around do the homemade food and we rather just opt for the multivitamin and leave it at that. I'm not buying kibble and making homemade food. That's doing too much. If any of you guys are interested in how to can pumpkin or anything else, drop that down in the comments. I'm actually gonna try my hand at canning some dog food, and I only say that because I cook enough for him to eat throughout the week, but it's only good. You know what? We're gonna go over that at the end. I'm just all over the place. We're gonna go over storage stuff at the end, so hold that thought. So guys, when you go to take your meat out of your Instant Pot, slow cooker, whatever you're using, oh yeah, you can cook this in a slow cooker, but if you do it in a slow cooker, it's gonna take all day. So I suggest you invest in an Instant Pot and just get it out the way real quick. Like I said, my Instant Pot is too small, so I do have to separate the meat and the vegetables, but still, that's only like an hour cooking the food versus a slow cooker, which takes 5 years. So just get an Instant Pot. If you're gonna be doing it, just invest into it, okay? But like I was saying, what you want to do is when you go to cook your meat, you're gonna naturally get broth from the meat in there. So what I do is I reserve a cup of broth from the meat cooking and I add that back in with my vegetables while I cook those. Just for added nutrients and flavor for the food. So again, that's optional, but you can do that or you can just add water, however you want to do. I just want to be fancy, so that's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm just adding these gizzards. These gizzards, the liver and the ground chicken to a bowl. Y'all, I'm not prepared. I don't even got my stuff ready. I'm all off the camera. I'm being ghetto right. So get you a masher. Get a good one. Don't get a cheap one. You can order them on Amazon. They're like $7, but get you a good masher. Not them Dollar Tree ones because you're going to be mashing for days. You just go in and I like to mash my meat up. It just makes it easier to mix everything else up after it's done cooking. We still got to cook our veggies, but I like to go in and ground this up separately. Debo is still a puppy, so I don't want to put huge chunks of liver or gizzards in his food and then he chokes on it because he's still a puppy and he's learning how to eat properly. So yeah, I'm just gonna mix that up. And also, like I said, I do coconut oil, which you can add now or you can add it after. Just do not add this while it's cooking in the pressure cooker. You add this after. You will kill all the good properties in the coconut oil if you add it in there after. I'm sorry, if you add it in there before. Y'all, it's late. It's time for bed. These kids are still up. Just, Lord. But I'm gonna add about 2 heaping tablespoons of coconut oil to the meat and mix that on up. That's the good fat that he's getting in there. I'll finish mixing that in a second. We're gonna go ahead and put our Instant Pot back. No need to clean it or anything. All the little crumbs of meat and all that, keep it in there. It's flavor for the dog. So here's our 2 sweet potatoes with the broth in there. Go ahead and pour that in. Oh my gosh, y'all, I forgot something. Oh no, I didn't. I did say that. So I added my sweet potatoes in the broth. Next, we're adding in the green beans and the peas. And then as far as the rice, I found that if you add the rice in the middle of everything, it cooks down a little better. You want to make sure this is cooked down. That way it can help them digest it better. So I'm going to put some rice in there. You don't need a whole bunch of rice. Like I said, you have to adjust this recipe based on the needs of your dog. Like I got this recipe from somebody and then I adjusted it based on the needs of Debo. A can of pumpkin. And then lastly, the carrots and the spinach. We're gonna plop that in there. Yo, this is all the way at the top. I need to invest in a bigger Instant Pot. And I'm not gonna mix this or anything. I just plopped it in there. You can mix it up if you want to. I don't mix it and it still cooks fine every single time. I'm gonna go ahead and put my lid back on. Now, as far as the vegetables, I'm only gonna cook these for like 20 minutes. Again, you'll have to adjust it based on how much you're cooking and all that other good stuff. But I cook it for about 20 minutes and it usually gets the job done. So 20 minutes on that. I'm gonna continue to brown my meat up. And then while that's cooking, after grounding this up, I'm just gonna cover it with some plastic. And when the veggies are done, I'll pour the veggies on top of the meat and I'll mash everything together. And then we will go over how to store it, how long to store it, and how to feed it to your pup. If you don't have a pup, an adult dog. Alright, that's my workout for today. Woo. Okay guys, so I do have to talk a little. My household has finally fallen asleep. Okay, so the veggies are done. I'm gonna go ahead and uncover my meat and pour the veggies directly on top of it and mash everything together. You wanna make sure you get everything well mixed up and intertwined. That way, in each feeding, the dog is getting a little bit of everything. So the baby woke up and now I have to be really quiet because my husband's trying to put him back to sleep. So once you mash everything, this is what you should have. This literally looks like the dog food that you buy out of the store, the ones that are in the cans, except for this is the good stuff. Sorry, you don't eat meat. So the way I measure my food out is obviously using a measuring cup. I bought these little bowls from Dollar Tree with the lids, and I just pre-portion the food out for breakfast and for dinner. He only eats twice a day. Like I said, you have to feed according to how your dog has to eat. So for our pup, it's 1 cup for each feeding. Once he gets a little bigger, obviously the food intake will increase. So we will have to adjust the proportions to meet the needs of his weight. So I'm done measuring all the food out. I got 9 days worth of food. 2 containers is for 1 day's worth of eating. I spent $20 on everything that was for the meat, the veggies, and all of that. And then of course I already had the rice and coconut oil and pumpkin at home, so that wasn't included in the price. Still fairly cheap. This will last him a week and 2 days, so $20 a week and 2 days. You can cook more at once if you want to have an abundance of food and not have to cook weekly, but I've been opting to just cook it weekly for right now because we don't have the space to store the food in this freezer. Speaking of storage, so this food is good for 4 days in the fridge. In the freezer, it's good for 6 months, and the deep freezer is good for up to a year. The way I do it is I let this come down to room temperature. I stick it in the fridge, and the next morning, whatever overflow I get after 4 days worth of food, I'll stick the overflow into the freezer, and then the night before he eats, we just pull it out and stick it in the fridge, and then we dump it in his bowl and he eats it. He doesn't mind having it cold. I know some people are saying that their dogs prefer warm food, but I guess our dog ain't bougie because he eats it cold, or it must just be that good. So again, 4 days in the fridge, 6 months in the freezer, up to a year in the deep freezer. So I will stick 4 days worth of food in the fridge. The other 6 days will go into the freezer, and we'll just pull it out the night before so that it can thaw. What other tips do I have for you guys? That's about it. I'm tired, y'all. I'm so tired. These kids is wearing us out. We tired. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I know I was kind of all over the place because this video was last minute. We just got home. It's chaos. I'll drop everything in the description box so that you can get the measurements, the weight to food ratio. But again, like I said a million times before, please, please, please reach out to your vet before giving this to your dog to make sure it's okay for them, for their breed and all that good stuff. works for our baby. It may work for yours, but you need to double check, okay? If you do have a puppy, I recommend a slow feeder. This one's amazing. Amazon. Y'all know I'm an Amazon fiend. I will drop this down in the description as well, along with the salmon oil, the multivitamins, all that good stuff. It'll be down in the description box if you want to go purchase it. The food's the bomb. So if you have a dog who's not used to this good old home cooking, you might want to get one of these, because our puppy, he was scarfing the food down in like 15 seconds. Not even over exaggerating. But this bowl, it takes him about 10 to 15 minutes to eat it. So that's better on the digestive system. You don't want them eating the food that fast. So recommend get that, because this food is good, I guess. I ain't never ate it, obviously. Vegan, don't eat this. And I ain't eating dog food anyway. Well, technically, this is still like human food. Human grade dog food. It's just meat and veggies, so it ain't seasoned though. My face was ugly. Technically, you could eat it if you wanted to. I mean, I don't recommend eating it. There ain't no seasoning on it, but do what works for you, okay? I think that's all I have for you guys. If you haven't liked, comment, and subscribe, please go ahead and do that right now. Literally right now. I'm waiting for you to do it right now. Did you? All right. Okay, guys, I feel like I've talked enough. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Thanks for watching. Bye.